Good morning, folks. Welcome to episode 69 of Something More Than Gibberish. Good evening to people in the rest of the world who are still on Friday evening. Today has been a long-awaited experience to feature the amazing powerhouse poetess from Nigeria, Loveth Liberty, or Loveth Nwuju. She's a powerhouse writer, a creative director, and a performing artist. Her artistry delves deeply into Nigeria's socio-political realities, celebrating the strength and struggles of womanhood and highlighting the new universal human experience. Through her writing and directing, she champions social justice and women's rights. Hopefully she's joins on soon. An amazing lady, and she performs pretty much all over the place. She travels a lot. Yeah, I was introduced to Loveth by Daisy, who's also from the same part of Nigeria as Loveth. And since being introduced to her, I have been keenly following her work and never ceases to amaze me. She memorizes recitals and delivers them on stage so amazingly. So let's hope that she joins us soon. This show's been going since coming on to close to 3 years. August will be 3 years. I've been fortunate to get some really good guests in this time, which is phenomenal. And keep getting more and more new faces into this show to have the benefit of being able to feature them. So I'm blessed because the show focuses on people, on artists who are writers of substantial poetry, deep and meaningful. We expound on their work, and really blessed to be introduced to such guests and getting to know them on the show through the discussions. It's absolutely amazing. And the purpose of the show is to firstly showcase the talents of the featured guests on a global platform through YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, etc. And secondly, through the discussions, we never know who will watch the shows, right? And somebody in a crucial moment in their life could hear just a line in it, or a topic of discussion that could help them at that time when they've got nobody else. And it's a matter of spreading the work of the featured guests, so they're better known, and exposes them to everybody from all walks of life. Hey, Loveth, welcome to the room. If you like to put in a request to come up, I'll drag you up onto the screen and we can get this show going. I have so much to talk to you about that I can't wait. If you hit that little plus sign down the bottom, I'll get a request and then I can bring you up. I can drag you up from the room, but it's better if you put in a request, because sometimes Instagram does some weird things. Yeah, just hit the plus sign on the camera icon at the bottom middle of your screen. It's just getting organized, and we'll have her in the room soon and start getting into the discussions and exposing Loveth's work. As I said, she's a writer, a creative director, and a performing artist. And the videos, etc., that I've seen of her performing are second to none. She delivers her work in such professionalism, um, and the power of her words are amazing. She's quite sought after, actually. She's graced the stages of major literary events and art festivals, such as the Lagos International Poetry Festival, the Abuja Literary Arts Festival, and Voices of Change in Nairobi. So she travels around, participates in so many events. It's literally a full-time job for her. So, yeah. As I said, it is 9 p.m. Friday night in Nigeria. Okay, she's putting a request. Let's bring her up.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, I can hear you now. Hi, Loveth. Welcome to Something More Than Gibberish.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm I think 9 minutes late or something.
Sorry?
Said sorry, I'm 9 minutes late or something.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Um, your camera's not on, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to round off some setup, but you would see me in a minute, I promise.
So, welcome to
Can
the
you hear me?
show.
Okay.
Um, it's a pleasure to have you on, and thank you for featuring on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. The Since I was introduced to you, I've been following your work, and I absolutely love the deliveries of your work, and the content of your work is very powerful, very strong message. So yeah, I think we got a lot to talk about in this.
Yeah, we do.
The And I'm just amazed you travel a lot as well, right?
Yeah, I try.
The You got so many credentials underneath beneath your name, and do you do this full time? Is it writing and performing? Is that a full time commitment?
It is. Yeah, it is. Feels funny to say, right? Um,
Well,
but
well, it's funny. It's not easy because I mean the one has to support life, right? So if you can, I mean, that is a dream of every artist to be able to commit to their craft full time. But unfortunately, rents, mortgages got to be paid, food's got to be put on the table, right? So bills don't stop for anyone. So it's great that you're able to do that on a full time basis.
yeah, it is. But sometimes I'm not even gonna lie. I was just talking to my friend today about let me be honest and say I wasn't talking. I was crying to my friend today about how nerve-wracking it is to leave to I would say to live like this. I know this is my choice. I want to be an artist. I'm choosing to be a creative by choice. But bills, as you said, mortgages and bills don't wait for anyone. And it gets real sometimes because this minute you're flying across the continent, you're going to Qatar, you're performing at the United Nations, and the money is good and the bills are up. the next minute you can't even afford data or you can't afford food. It's or I know people say a lot about saving right and all that stuff about financial literacy for artists, but yeah, I don't think that except you maybe have a proper job in that sense. I'm saying a proper job and I feel like I'm betraying my work by saying a proper job because my job is a proper job. But there is the need to have a constant certain sense of income to know for sure where your next job is coming from. It's not even if you're earning thousands of dollars in that sense. You could do it $2,000 today, performing for this president or that president or writing for this campaign on that campaign. And the next minute it's not it's something else, right? It's like crazy and stuff. But okay, I think I'm here. My front camera is not exactly the best. I think my back camera is better, but I'm here.
Hey, great to see you and great to connect with you on a screen. Um, the You are so right. Like honestly, I think it takes a lot of strength, a lot of determination, a lot of commitment to be able to make it, to commit your time and your trust in your craft. That really takes a lot of strength. And there's many artists who've got to can only commit to it partially because of living expenses. And, the old cliche about the starving artist is quite real. So, highly commend you on your commitment, my friend. Really is. And I wish you all the best and every success. Look, your work, I recently saw some clips that you posted from where you performed at the Swedish Embassy. I mean, that was phenomenal. It looked like an amazing night. So, so tell me, where did it all start for you? What got you into this creative experience? Was it at a young age or was it later in life or?
Okay, so I started off with music, and like a lot of people, I don't know if it's just a lot of people in Africa or maybe also there in the global West, but we usually begin a lot of our talents in the church. So my parents are Christians, and so we started in the church. As long as my oldest memories go, I I've always been performing music, right? My mom and my dad, they were really active in church. So whether you like it or not, you're sure going to be part of something. Either you're doing music or you're doing drama by fire, by force. And so I started music, but basically I started with music at an early age because I like it, not because, my mother was the head of the children's department, but mainly because I liked it. I liked music. I've always been doing music. In school, I used to go for those schools competition. I used to, there's this competition I went to when I think I was in SS1 and we didn't win. We came fifth, but I think that was the first time I heard Forever Young by Jay-Z. They won with the song. So I always remember because they won with the song. Overall, I started off with music and then I found poetry around 2016, 2017. Basically because most of my community members that we were doing music together for the longest, they had admission before I did. I had admission 4 years after high school. So imagine all my music friends had gotten admission and somehow I was the one left in the same town that we had grown up in. And around the time I met a lot of poets online on Facebook, and my ex, there's this guy that is now an ex. We kind of like bonded and he started teaching me spoken word poetry particularly, and he was like a rapper. So I learned poetry from there, like not like I learned poetry for him, but he was like my first physical direct contact of learning poetry. And so he also introduced me to the Abuja Literary Society. The friend, our mutual friend, the friend that introduced us, is a member of the Abuja Literary Society. It's one of the one of the biggest thriving communities, of literary communities here in Nigeria. And so I found the Abuja Literary Society in 2017 too. And so I joined them because they're such a vibrant folk, like anything literature, short stories, poetry, comedy, just it's like you have a talent, even opinion pieces, essays, just come, do your thing. And then I found the Abuja Literary Society in 2017, and I've kind of been hooked because I'm even currently a board member. It's such an honor actually when I say it like that, but yeah, I'm a board member. And so yeah, I started art from an early age, but for poetry, I started particularly in 2017, and it's been 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. Look at that.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, when you're having fun.
So tell me about the Abuja Poetry Society. So as you know, I'm due, all going well, I'm due to travel there on the 19th. And if there is any events, I'd love to come and witness them firsthand. Of course, from Australia to Nigeria, all the flights go through the Middle East. My flight is meant to, I've got a 2 hour stopover in Doha in Qatar, and that airport's getting bombed and so forth. But my flight is still confirmed as of yesterday, but that could change at the last minute. So I'll literally be packed, ready to go.
Oh,
I've got all my vaccinations. I had to get about 12 needles. But
uh,
right till I get on that plane, I don't know if that plane is flying. So,
oh
uh,
my God.
yeah, because everything from here, they used to fly directly from here to different parts of Africa. But since just before COVID, a lot changed, and now a lot of the flights go through the Middle East. And with the war going on there, matter of fact, I've got to take another oral vaccine today for cholera, and I'm just going to take it and be prepared and ready to get on that plane unless they say no, we're not flying. So, but getting back to when I get to Nigeria, firstly, I obviously like the opportunity to meet you in person, and if there's any events at the Abuja Society, the Literary Society, I'd certainly love to be able to meet some of the other guests there. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Um, the Abuja Literary Society is like really cool. They're full of like young people and people across different ages. I don't know if you know DK Chukwumerije. I don't have you heard of him before?
No, no, I haven't.
He's one of our renowned poets here in Nigeria, in Africa, basically. DK Chukwumerije, Al Islam, they're like one of our best. So the Abuja Literary Society has been around for about 2 decades. I'm not sure we're up to 3 decades yet, but I know we're up to 2 decades. Um, we meet every Friday. So for
Oh,
the open, yeah, for the first and the second Friday is an open mic that happens at Transcorp Hilton. Transcorp Hilton is also one of our biggest hotels in Africa, if I am not mistaken. There's Transcorp Hilton, there's Echo Hotel. So basically, we that's the basic. I'm probably saying Transcorp Hilton is one of the biggest hotels in Africa. To like just explain how much renowned we are. You can see our one of our biggest partners, which is Transcorp. We meet every Friday. First and second Friday is for the open mic. So at the open mic, we do 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. where people come and there's a scan. There's a scan code, and then if you want to perform, you scan the code and you register, and basically we perform on a first come first serve basis. And so the open mic, as I said, is the first and second Friday, and then we have a book jam and a book club for the third and the fourth Friday. I'm kind of having it mixed up because that's not exactly yeah, but there's a book club and a book jam. In the book club, we discuss the book of the month. Then I think for the book jam we can have an author, yeah, an author. Sometimes it's virtual actually. We have, especially since the pandemic in 2020, we've kind of like, I think, made it completely virtual, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that one of our biggest, most thriving events is the open mic, which is the first and the second Friday. We sit like hundreds of people. and you come when you perform. If you perform, you come perform, and we give feedback. You can perform, you go, and then people raise their hand, say, "What this is what I thought about the poem. This is what I liked about it, or this is what I thought about the song. This is what I think about the piece you read or the story." So that's basically what it's like. And we usually have a festival every year. Well, we have been having a festival every year since 2018. And well, yeah, I've been volunteering ever since then. But I think since 2021, I started working with the team, and I usually curate. I think I've been curating for the festival for about 5 years now. Um, but yeah, we have our festivals every year, usually happening between September to October. That's what usually when it happens, but we didn't have a festival for last year. A couple of our festivals in Nigeria did not happen well, not a couple, but yeah, some major festivals like the Abuja Literary and Art Festival, which is by the Abuja Literary Society, did not happen last year. I know that Lagos Poetry Festival did not happen last year. But we're hoping that we would continue this year, because it felt like a lot of the festivals needed some sort of like evaluation, having run for a lot of years. So there was like a stepping back, to evaluate some stuff. But we're really hoping that this year we're ready to come back full circle, and keep things working. So basically, it's really fun, and we've produced some of the best artists in the country. I say that with a lot of pride and humility, all together.
Well, September to October. So my plan is after this visit, all going well,
Yeah.
I plan to revisit there towards in the second half of October, but so that I can go
Okay.
to the Lagos Book Festival in Lagos, and that's normally, I believe, end of October. So the reason I say the second half is because at the start of October, my son gets married, and I'd better be here for his wedding, otherwise I'll never be forgiven. So um, as soon as after the wedding, in the second half, I'll be able to. I'm hoping to get back to Abuja and then fly over to Lagos for the book festival in October. So that's fingers crossed. I try not to plan too far ahead, but just keep these thoughts in my head as to what intentions are, and then leave it in the hands of the universe. Um, you you certainly are very very busy, and on top of that, you've got a quite a long list of um, accolades behind you. Like with your talents alone, you've got so many. You've got what have you got a degree in English Lit,
Yeah.
uh, and you're continually expanding on that. From the You've got a music women in music diploma with the Spanish Agency of International Cooperation Development. And also a certified fellow of the Nigerian Green Academy. What is the Green Academy? Is that a environmental academy or?
Okay, so the Nigerian Green Academy is like the youth fellowship of the Heinrich Boell Foundation. The Heinrich Boell Foundation, so it's Heinrich Boell Foundation. I think for German is Stiftung, but anyway, in English it's Heinrich Boell Foundation. You could check them out. They're like a German corporation or something. But the Nigerian Green Academy is their Nigerian youth It's like it's okay, it's a residency they do for Nigerian advocates,
Mm,
right? People, yeah, so people that do work around the around social justice. It could be environmental justice, it could be urban justice, gender justice, climate justice, all of those work that around the sustainable development goals. So the Nigerian Green Academy, what it does is, I think it's been running for about four to 5 years. So what it does is they send out a call for people to nominate people that are doing great work around these influences, and then they gather them and teach them, better equip them with skills, with resources. And sometimes they ask them to send in propose projects, and when they go through the applications and submissions, they kind of like finance that project. So the Nigerian Green Academy, I would say, would be, if I don't know if I'm using the word correctly, but it's like is a residency arm, is the fellowship arm of the Heinrich Boell Foundation here in Nigeria. And sometimes I think about why they called it the Green Academy, but maybe because it's climate related, or it's just the idea of Nigerian being green, or the fact that the idea of justice is to keep things green. But I think that, yeah, the Green Academy sounds quite fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly encompass so many assets of the socio sort of system within a community, right? Like as you said, if they're striving to promote justices on so many levels, when you say green, automatically think it's all about climate, but it's clearly under its umbrella covers much more than just the climate, which is phenomenal. And your work that I'm across anyway certainly fits well into that little niche, like you speak very strongly on the rights of womanhood, but you also cover the whole human experience, which is at the end of the day, even males are human. So, and there's just as many injustices. So, um, yeah, the depth of your creativity is phenomenal, and your delivery is just another aspect that's at another level as well. Because I notice you memorize a lot of your work so that you can speak to the audience. So you must spend a lot of time in rehearsing and memorizing your own work. I struggle to memorize even a little haiku that I've written. So I take my hat off to people who can memorize lengthy pieces and deliver it with such conviction, because unfortunately, because I can't memorize, I've got to read, and then that disengages from your audience. But we all have our limitations. So does that take a lot of time in the memorizing, in the background, in memorizing your performances and so forth?
Honestly, it doesn't. Memorizing does not take a lot of time for me, and here is why: because I edit a lot. So I memorize as I edit, so I could. I've been trying. Okay, so I was trying to write. I have a cipher tomorrow. Tomorrow is World Poetry Day, and so I have a poetry cipher. So I'm trying to like finish up rehearsals for tomorrow. So an example of what my memorizing process is, say I'm trying to write. I know get 9 lives, I know be catfish, right? I'm trying to hold things down, but it's slippery like catfish. The thing is, as I'm writing, as I'm memorizing, I'm editing. So when I take off this line and replace it with this line, I'm memorizing as I go. And that's why it doesn't take a lot of time. So what takes a lot of time for me is the editing, because there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of back and forth. That's basically why it takes. So editing takes more time than memorizing for me, right? Because I'm never really done writing. Like I'm never really like done writing, because I'm trying to, let's say I'm trying to memorize. I'll not think that, oh, this line sounds better, and then I'll now retweak the line. And so editing takes more time than memorizing. So it's like, yeah, that's what it's like for me.
You are right about the editing with both my first and second books. The writing and the compiling was fine because I had the material and I just compiled it in chronological order. But then started the editing, and some of the stuff I'd written like many years before because I procrastinated about publishing my work for many years. So stuff that I'd written like many years previously, going through and editing them. I've got an OCD as well. I hate lines that overflow into the second line. So trying to edit them to fit in one line, and then I hate if I had everything on one page, but two lines overflow to the next page, that sort of stuff. So then I've tried to edit those lines to fit it into one page, etc., etc. So yes, the editing does take a hell of a lot of time, but yeah, I should really invest some time in trying to memorize work, but that has been a struggle. Yeah. So,
Before
sorry.
I say, yeah, yeah, you should. And memorizing can be fun. You know, laughing, especially when you're laughing at yourself for missing your lines. It can be fun.
Do you do that? Do you miss any lines when you're performing?
Yeah, sometimes, especially when the words are those is what do they call it? Those tongue twisters.
Yeah.
Like tongue is like
And you deliver your work in front of large crowds on stage as well, which yeah, to remember your lines in those sort of that environment is absolute credit to you, love. It really is. Well, the videos I've watched a few of your YouTubes and your Instagram performances and so forth. Yeah, very impressive, very impressive. Did you want to share any of your work now, and we can discuss those?
okay, I'll try. So there's this one titled what's the word? Poison. So can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, so poison, here we go. The night you called me the worst mistake of your life. I laughed so hard, I swear I heard my ribs crack. Funny, this life. Funnier, this thing called love. Do you remember? Not long ago, you called me a miracle, and I called you an answered prayer God Himself delivered to my doorstep. Months later, I'm by my bed. I'm knee deep in the flood of my own tears, begging God to help me unlove you. But baby, how can I unlove you? Or maybe the right question is, how did it get so crazy? It was like last night, we were so drunk in love. Now the morning comes and we're sober. Is heartbreak love's own kind of hangover? We're done, but we're not over. You come over. You say this, I say that. The tension hovers. And now we're over here throwing stuff, throwing hands and throwing words that cut deeper than a butcher's knife. Come on, man. You hit below the belt when you called me my mother's biggest regret. And I just stood there taking deep breath like my therapist suggests, trying so hard not to tell you that it was your birth. You sickle cells, that boy, it was your birth that should never have happened in the first place. It was your birth that began the death of your parents' happy marriage. I wanted to hit you where it hurts the most. Hell, how did we go from lovers to these monsters? How did love so ripe and sweet become this rotten, this toxic, this poison? Thank you.
Wow, wow. That I don't think there is a human, an adult human on this earth that couldn't relate to that. We've all been through that where, as you said, one minute we're drunk on love and next thing when we're sober, we're in poison. That is so relatable and it is sad that uh, the love that you shared with another, when it doesn't work out, how it becomes such a poisonous. Um, you're just all the slander about the other person and so forth. That really is sad because
Yeah.
what I've always and I've written pieces on a similar vein where today I fall in love with you and I'll have you on a pedestal. Tomorrow we fall out of love, and
Yeah.
then you haven't changed. You're still the same person that you were yesterday that I fell in love with. I am still the same person, just that our intentions didn't align or our priorities didn't align, and we fall out of love. And but you don't change, and I don't change. So why then?
Yeah.
that's just a reflection of our own fragile egos because we couldn't have what we wanted or whatever. Then we start looking at the bitter side. That's it. Really is a real human frailty. You know, you captured that essence so well, and your delivery is phenomenal. It really is. Like every word just sank in. I personally, in every relationship I've had, when that ends or ended, I'm not once ever worried about what she did or what she didn't do and what her shortcomings were. I always looked at what did I do well in that relationship? What were my shortfalls? And I focused on improving where I was short and expounding and expanding where I did well. The impact of that to me is from each experience I grew as a person, so that the relationship might have been there. Sure, it ends, you hit the ground, but then the next relationship was higher. And I have lost Loveth. She must have hit the wrong button. Let's wait till she gets back. What a phenomenal lady. I mean, yeah, she's involved in so many um, societies and travels around all over the place performing. And it really is hard um, to make it a full-time commitment to your craft. Now, let's hope she comes back on because she suddenly dropped off, which means she more than likely hit the wrong button. Yeah, she's just a phenomenal performer. And as I said, I really commend her making a full commitment to full time to her craft because we've all got different aspirations and we always chase different things. We got bills to pay, rent, mouths to feed. So it is not easy. I hope she does come back soon. I don't know what happened there, but she disappeared very, very suddenly. An amazing young lass. The she's um, done a lot of collaborations with renowned sort of brands and organisations as well, including Nivea, LaCasera, UNDP, Helen Keller International, BBC Media, Jameson, World Intellectual Poetry Organisation, Amnesty International, Change.org, United Nations, and the Heinrich Boell Foundation as well. So she's really gets out there. I'm blessed to be able to feature her on this show. Hope she comes back very, very soon. I don't know what transpired there. Let me see if she's not in the room. Don't see her in the room. Hopefully it's not a Wi-Fi thing or internet thing that's gone wrong there. Sophia, really good to see you. Thanks for coming by. And Tom, always a pleasure, my friend. I know it's in the middle of your day because it's about 4 o'clock. I know you're on EST, right? But either way, it's the middle of the day, right, for you. So thank you for coming by. Where are you, Loveth? Come by. 4:45, yes, so correct. So you're on EST. The other thing that astounds me is literally every piece I've seen her deliver is all memorized and on stage in front of vast crowds, and her rhythm and the cadence of delivery is phenomenal. And because she also rhymes her words, to me, I think memorizing your words, if you miss a line, you throw the whole rhyme scheme and all out, right? So again, absolute credit to her. It's funny how some people can memorize words and numbers and so forth, whereas I can't. Whereas I've got a photographic memory, I can describe a picture many years later. I can describe what people are wearing, the environment, but I couldn't tell you the street name or the number of a place or anything like that. So the human mind never ceases to amaze me. As we were discussing, she holds a bachelor's degree in English Lit, Women in Music diploma from the Spanish Agency for International Cooperation Development, and she's certified fellow of the Nigerian Green Academy. She's also a M-Switch Media alumnus and an honourable member of the Young Advocates for Democracy. Recently, she's back in the room. If you want to put in a request, Loveth, I'll drag you back up. Okay, I'm getting her back up in the room. Hey, technical difficulty, you're back.
Yes, yes, I am.
So, yeah, as I was saying when you were suddenly dropped off, the consequence
Mhm.
of studying my part in any, be it a business relationship, be it an emotional connection, be it friendships even, the next subsequent relationship was enriched and at a higher level because of my
Mm.
growth through that. But I
Yeah,
don't meet many people. Every person, family, friends, everybody that I know, it's always about she did, he did, this, that, and then everything just degrades. Then the next relationship's the same, and the same cycle keeps repeating. And
true.
the points you expressed in that piece really should, it's very basic, it's very obvious. We can't see life through the other person's eyes, so why are we even trying to make accusations or judgments on
True.
them? We can only see life through our eyes, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Relationships can be complicated, I think. And I feel like I tried to capture, like, especially towards the end of the lines of the poem where I talked about how the female character wanted to tell him that because he's a sickle cell person, that you couldn't have been born in the first place. They shouldn't have given birth to you in the first place. That your birth was the death of your parents' happy marriage. I think that that was a very cruel thing to say to somebody you once loved. And the guy telling her that you are your mother's biggest regret, and she telling the guy that you are your parents' biggest regret. I think that was my way of pointing that the two of them are messed up. They are fundamentally, like, they've become messed up at that point. And the rhetorical question where she was asking, how did we go from lovers to monsters, like, yeah, I think that that was also my way of trying to get the both of them to maybe take responsibility. And as you said, a lot of times when people talk about how their relationship failed, there's always a she did this, he did this. There's no part of I did this, and that was my way of trying to get the two of them to take, accountability for the ruin of the relationship.
you certainly did that, and to say to another human that you have to be your mother's biggest regret, that's hitting hard, right? That's you. I don't think you could insult anybody any more than that. That's very
Yeah.
powerful accusation, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
yeah, Loveth, phenomenal, my friend, phenomenal. Now, did you recently travel to France as well with performing?
No, no, no. I was invited to Europe last year. I was supposed to go to Belgium, particularly, and I was supposed to do a bit of tour around France. I was hoping to do, because I think you could travel by train,
Yeah.
within Europe, So yeah, but they didn't give me visa, so
All right.
I didn't my visa application wasn't accepted. So I think my last trip was in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah, in November. Also, I wanted to mention when you were speaking of your flight you traveling through Doha. I wanted to mention that Qatar was the first country I traveled to, and it was like really cool. That international Doha International Airport. It was so beautiful. Oh my God. That airport is so beautiful, and I pray that your flight isn't cancelled for real, for real. I hope, yeah. But anyway, I digress. Sorry, you're trying to say something.
No, no, carry on. The Tom, the regular member of the audience, and he'll be featuring very soon in the next few weeks. He's put in a comment. Usually, when people fight, they project their own weaknesses and bad behaviors onto the other person, and that is so true.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
that really is. Yeah, so Doha, well, that was one of the first airports to get bombed, and they got a flight through Doha, Abu Dhabi. There are a couple of others, like through Ethiopian Airlines, but that's a stopover at Singapore, then another one at the Ethiopian airport, and then finally to Abuja, and each one's about a 4 hour wait between flights, and a 21-hour flight is going to become like 30 plus hours, and I'm trying to avoid that. So fingers crossed, and I'm saying a few Hail Marys every night that my flight, that things will cease and I can come, because I really am so. I've been working on this trip for a few months now, and I've had a numerous number of vaccines to get, over a
Yeah,
dozen. So I'm prepared, and I'm just so. Oh, I'd be so disappointed. Normally, I don't get disappointed in life. I just let, hey, that's what, obviously not meant to be. When time's right, it'll happen. But with this, I really would be disappointed, because I have been looking forward to, number one, setting foot on the African continent, and meeting people like yourself, my featured guest from the Beloved Voyager from 2 weeks ago, meeting a Daisy, and yeah, and the plan is to visit Abuja and Lagos. So hopefully I'll get to meet Prince Idris, or the Beloved Voyager that I featured 2 weeks ago as well. So I tell you what, at the moment, look, wars are wars, but I would be really pissed if that stopped me from getting to Abuja. And you don't want to see me pissed. I'm not a beautiful soul when I'm pissed. So it takes a lot to get me going, but anyway, we'll fingers crossed. I'm trusting in the universe that it'll get me there if I'm meant to be there in April. And I will be there till about the 11th of May. So I do hope that I can visit the Abuja Literary Society there for one or two of their events on a Friday night, and meet up with you guys in person. So yeah,
and maybe try our fufu
one thing I'll be trying a lot of is the Algerian
jollof.
rice. I'll be getting into that like you wouldn't believe. Now tell me what fufu is. What is fufu?
Oh, okay. But if I heard you correctly, you said you were definitely going to be trying the jollof, right? Was it
Yeah.
the jollof you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the jollof, of course, I think you know what is. So the fufu is it's it's the white doughy stuff. It's made from cassava, and it's like our swallow of choice. We use it for our soups here. Egusi soup, all our nice soup. So it's like, yeah. But it's usually white. You see it.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
oh, I send you a video one of these days so you see what it looks like.
Now because I love food. I eat pretty much. There's not much that I don't eat. So if I'm to miss out on all these, unique culinary delights from Nigeria, I would be even more pissed now because so better hope these flights or this war ends. Otherwise, I might go and join the war just to put an end to it, so that I can get to Nigeria in April. It's just under a month now. When I first bought my tickets and all, it was like a couple of months away, and now it's getting closer. And I'm saying, come on, every day I'm watching the news and I'm keeping up to updates with the situation in the Middle East because I'm sweating on my trip. I really am. So now, have you published your work in form of a book, or are you
No,
working?
I would, but I think that would be after I have my album out. Um, yeah, because yeah, I like I usually prefer first, of course, I know that I would want to have a published book, but I usually it would be after I have an album out, because I love recording and performing before page anything.
Mm.
But a lot lately, a lot recently, I've kind of like gone back to reading as voraciously. Is that the English?
Yeah,
And
def-
so there's the part of me that's been leaning more to written works, but I know for certain because especially because I have an album in the work, it would definitely be after an album. But I've been considering getting published, so but that would most likely be towards the third quarter, the third or last quarter of this year, by the grace of God.
So, well, an album sounds phenomenal. Now, I've got a question. I remember seeing on one of your posts, or whether it's a YouTube video, I think it was one of your posts, two things that made me laugh. The one was you don't like singing because you pull funny faces you didn't like the faces you pull when you sing. Tell me about that because I've watched a few of your singing performances and I'm going, what is she talking about? But that cracked me up. I was in stitches laughing about that. Tell me about that.
It's just one of those crazy things, that one of those crazy consciousness that kind of creeps on you. And and for me, with poetry, for example, I think that there's since it's words, it's more words than melody or sound. You can manage your face, right? But for singing, sometimes you have to do your face a certain way to hit a certain note, right? And then that was where the consciousness from. And it's like really awkward. I think that is like really awkward because I really don't give a shit about these things. Then all of a sudden you start giving a shit. But if I'm a friend of mine that her boyfriend is a musician. And so while that was just in my head at first, like the whole, doing your face one kind, while it was just in my head, passively, I remember one time where we're talking about a recent video he released, and she was like she loves the song, and that's one of her favorite covers of his. But she's like she was just talking to me, not the boyfriend. She was like, but there's this face he used to make when he's singing that is like awkward, all that, and used to make me feel conscious on his behalf. And I think it just cemented that feeling in my head, like, oh my God, is it possible that some people actually see me perform music and they're like, oh, why is her face like this? Why is her nose like this? Why is she doing that crazy eye? Something like that.
Well, Loveth, as I said, I've only seen clips of your singing and all that, and I'd go, I'm looking and go, what is she talking about? Because, like, I don't see anything there. And people get captivated by whether you're delivering a song or whether you're delivering a poem on stage. I remember seeing some YouTubes, you were barefoot on the stage and looked like a big audience there. And you looked at home on that stage. You looked like you belonged there. So, my friend, there's nothing for you to be self-conscious about in your facial expressions or anything. Uh, and I love the traditional costumes you wear as well. The traditional colors of the African nation, the fashion, everything that all paint such a complete picture. I don't think there's anything for you to be self-conscious about. It really isn't, you know. Even in
Thank you.
even in the videos you post of, I chuckle quite often to myself when you do something in the gym at a hotel or something, and you post something, and you cannot, you do nothing but and uplift my mood just by the bringing a laugh, because the human mind cannot be stressed or angry and laugh at the same time. So when sometimes if I'm having a stressful event at work or something, because your night is my daytime, I'm literally a day ahead of you, I'm a half a day ahead of you. It's Saturday morning, 8 a.m. for me, whereas it's 10 p.m. for you, for
Yeah.
Friday. the I'm in the middle of work and I'm having a stressful discussion or something, and then I see something, one of your little posts from the gym or something like that, and it just makes me laugh and it uplifts my day. It really does. So you are the complete package on stage. So really, there's nothing to be self-conscious about. Honestly, isn't. Now, so it's interesting that you are equally big on the music side as well as the poetry. My very first guest for this year, this is coming up to the third year I've been doing the show. I featured another Nigerian who recently moved to the UK. Well, is currently in the UK. I don't know if he's going to be there permanent. Frankie Walter.
Okay.
Is a singer, and he's now starting to convert his focus on poetry, but so far it's music. He's got some playlists and all on Spotify and so forth. Phenomenal singer as well from Nigeria. So I've had quite a few Nigerians on the show this year, thanks to a Daisy. So yeah, the other thing that I was gonna, that made me laugh when I read your post was you love traveling, but you hate packing. I do too, right? It really is. I'm constantly for weeks. Like I'm not flying for. I'm flying for just under a month. In Probably today or during the next week, I would keep an empty travel case in my room, and as I think of things, I keep throwing it in, because otherwise I'm constantly going, did I get this? Did I get that? Did I get my phone charger? Did I get the power adapters? Blah blah blah, and my head gets busier than the city streets. You know what I mean? So yeah, because you think I don't want to get on that plane and realize I've left something, which is stupid, because in any country you can literally, if you forget something, you can buy it. You know what I mean? But that's the OCD in me kicking in. It's going, have you got this? Have you done that? And double and triple checking. So you want to get in now. So the purpose of this show, as I say to guests, is twofold. Number one, I feature guests whose work I believe in, who really have a profound message to convey to societies across the globe. So from this, when I post this, I'll share the link with you, but then I'll create a YouTube as well from this, and also a podcast on Spotify, which I'll share the links with you, that you can use any which way you like to promote your work. These So it's people that I believe in. I want to show them to every corner of the world, because, like, for example, countries like India, for example, YouTube's big. Other people who Instagram's big, so forth. So I try to share it on as many platforms as I can. Speaking of our mutual friend, she's just joined the room. Um, so yeah. The second thing is, through the conversations, like the conversations we had on your first piece, there's many people in different corners of the world who are alone and do not have anybody a confidant that they can reach out to in time of need. And sometimes just a word or transaction between us, between the conversation, could be all
Mm.
that it needs to drag them back from a very dark place, from the corner of the cliff, right? So this is why I do this show, and showcasing the featured guests' work to as wider, wider audience as feasible, because I truly believe that what we are meant to have, be it hearing a word, be it receiving something, when we're in need, the universe brings us what we need. And I firmly believe that. And I believe that what the communication between us, the conversations, will reach the people who need to hear it. So that's, yeah. And I think the power of your message in your work, there's a lot said that a lot of people need to hear. So I
True.
really believe in the content that you create.
Thank you. I appreciate for real.
And that said, do you want to share more of your work? This is all about showcasing you. So I've got no prescribed agenda for the show. It's wherever you want to take it, whatever you want to show the world of you and your talents. This is your 2 hours for you to showcase you. So
All
take it
right.
anywhere you like.
Okay, cool. Um, I'll start with this poem is titled Somewhere in the World. But just to give a bit of context, I don't know if you've seen this video, but on this part of the internet, there's this news that's been going viral. A community in Nigeria, Delta State, particularly, they're having this festival for 1 week where women, girls, are told to not come outside because when you come outside, if you come outside, you are going to be raped. And there's a video, like there are viral videos. I don't know how much Nigerians you follow, or how much news around Nigerian creators you get, but there's been this videos trending where there are girls, like, a few girls, because a lot of them are locked inside their house. They come outside and their flock of men like chasing them, tearing their cloth, trying to like literally rape them on the streets. They're not even hiding it, right? It's a festival. It's like a rape festival for 1 week. You don't go to work. If you're found outside, you'd be raped. Like I think if they're merciful unto you, they can, after tearing your clothes, they can allow you go back. This is happening in Nigeria. This is not a joke. This is not a movie. It is not a film. It is not fiction. It is happening somewhere in Delta State. As you and we're speaking right now, they have police. I'm sure we have police force in Delta State, but this is happening. This is legal. This is, would I say, is legal? It's permitted because I'm sure they have leaders, right? And so it's just disheartening to see the impunity with which women get to be violated, right? It I think I dropped a comment where I was asking, is it a movie? Is it fiction? Is this a joke? Because how do you explain something like that in a world in 2026 there's a culture that allows for women of a community, for anybody in fact, to be violated like that, right? And so basically the next poem is titled so his
Wow.
mind, it's so crazy. Well, yeah. And so the next poem is titled Somewhere in the World, and it's basically about gender injustice.
That is all
Um
barbaric.
it is. It
And
it is ridiculously so, right? It is barbaric. And
honestly,
I
my blood just went cold just hearing it. And
it,
that
it's
permitted, that it's accepted. My blood just
it's
went cold.
it's
How about
cold, like.
this piece?
And and so that's literally what has informed like the poem I'm going to share. And also just a bit of context, um you probably have heard of child marriages,
Yes.
probably. I don't know how much it happens where you are, the in the part of the world where you are, but where I grew up in, uh, it's in northern Nigeria, you can you would see a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old is getting married, an 11-year-old is getting married. I was literally in primary six. Primary six is primary school is school before high school. I don't know what you guys call it, but
Hey,
yeah, I was in yeah primary six when I saw my classmates get married. Like I'm saying, before I got to high school, somebody that has not got into high school is getting married. And so this poem is basically about it somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, a girl is caught. A girl is carted off abroad like Kunta Kinte. Enslaved, she's trained in the art of war. No, I'm not talking the art of war by Sun Tzu. I mean the art of war that commandeers a girl's body, turn it into a naked weapon to fight hunger. And every night the girl be praying, Lord, when will you send the Harriet Tubman to come save me from mass slavery somewhere in the world? Is a little lady, Fati. She's barely 12. But there goes her wedding bells, this very girl still learning to wear her sanitary pad will be starting a family now, 'cause wedlock beckons on. At 14, she's nursing her second son, a child bearing the weight of childbearing somewhere in the world is a scared girl begging, screaming, please stop. But this boy, well, you know how the story goes, boys we be boys. The law turns a blind eye, the bastard goes scot-free, as if to say justice is too costly. At best, we give the girl the courtesy of a hashtag. Somewhere in the world is you, Mr. Husband. You turn your wife's body into canvas. You are Da Vinci, the great painter, and you paint her black and you paint her blue. But she don't pack, no, she don't move, 'cause she's been taught that a good wife is like diapers, always there to take your shit in somewhere in the world, somewhere in the world, somewhere in the world. Thank you.
oh my God, that is you cut right to the core there. And yes, I'm aware of the child brides, particularly in the Middle East and Muslim sort of countries that surround us. Not in my country, generally a Christian country. Thank God it's not here, but it's not legally accepted either. And the people here would turn, they would actually crucify a man if they caught somebody like doing that thing, right? But with the immigration that we've had particularly in the last 5 to 6 years, we have got in certain parts some large Muslim communities, and I believe there has been a couple of instances of that, but it's not a legally accepted thing. And the people, honestly, if I came across somebody that was a participant in like a child bride, there's a good chance they would be going to meet their maker, because nothing makes my blood boil more. But getting back to the that festival for a week where a female has to stay within locked doors for fear of being raped and molested and violated, that is, my mind is struggling to grasp that in this day and age. This shit happened in biblical times, right? And we're talking 2000 plus years ago, not in the 21st century, for crying out loud. That is, and to know that the authorities turned a blind eye to it.
It's crazy because they're just they'll just come and say, I don't know, it's just so dumb, right? Some people are saying it's their culture. Some people are saying, but they want the girls, like, they gave news about, because I think apparently I think it's something that's been happening for years, and they're like, well, these girls were warned. They told them not to leave their house, their homes. But how do you explain that? people that go to work, people that go to, in fact, even if they don't go to anywhere, how do you tell me to stay in my house for a week? In fact, how do you tell me that me being in the streets in just gives you the the I don't know, it's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. It's hard to comprehend. Like, how are they men? And you would see little boys, and as the men are grappling on the girls, everybody, old men, young boys, like you could see when you see the video, you see little boys. They're just trying to have their way. These men, do they not have sisters? Do they not have wives? Do they not have cousins? Do they not? How?
Mm.
How is that even possible? How does it make any sense? Well, it is happening in my country right now, and people are defending, some people are defending it. Some people are telling them, well, it is culture. It is, I can't even, I don't even know what to say, man. It's just so crazy. It's just a crazy.
It's it absolutely destroys my heart to know that that is happening right now as we speak. That really shatters my belief in humanity. Because you got to ask yourself, where, when you meet cultures like this, you got to ask, where, in how ridiculous manner has man evolved in the last 2,000 years if that still goes on today? We haven't. Right? That is, oh my God, that really speaks and showcases or the power of your word and the power of your creativity. Love it. That really is, because those are the things that I love people to write about, and exposing that and the wrongness of it. Absolute credit to you for writing that and exposing that, because I've never heard of this festival, and wouldn't have in my wildest imagination thought that that was going on and accepted within a community today. The
We just
child rights, yes, I have. I'm aware of that, and disgusts me to my very core. Um,
Most of us found out about it today. I think a lot of people found out about it today. Like, I don't think it's mainstream. Like, it's not a culture a lot of people know. As I said, most of the content started going viral today. Most creators found out about it today and started. A lot of people have been making content about it. A lot of people have been shouting, like raising the volume so that people know that these things happen. A lot of us did not know about it. There are certain cultures that we are aware of. For example, I think there's a Calabar carnival where certain women go about bare chested, right? But that one is voluntary. I don't really know the details of that particular tradition, but it's a festival, and certain women, they go out bare chested, but they are decorated, they are dressed, and you will know that it's not coercion. You will know it's their culture, and I'm guessing that the people that agree to go out like that are aware, and then it's within their consent, something like that. And even if it's weird, even if it's like, because I don't know, I don't think I'll be comfortable with seeing people bare chested walking around. But as uncomfortable as that is, there's probably a way where it makes sense to them, because people's rights, it's consensual. People are deciding to do it, as much as some people are deciding to not do it. But this one, a lot of us have never heard about it. We don't even know maybe the origin of the culture. We don't know. I don't know. Um, but to just maybe go, please, you want to say something?
No, look, sometimes in Western society, you hear the comments, say a woman gets molested, and they say, oh, look at the way she was dressed. Look, in my eyes, if a woman even decided to walk down the street naked, that does not give a male, that's not an open invitation to go and violate her persona, her person, her private privacy. That is, is it a foolish thing to do, to walk down naked? Yes, I would say it is. But does that give any person a right to go and violate her? No, it doesn't. Right? one of the very reasons that I couldn't be in law enforcement is because two things that really makes me lose control, makes my blood boil, is, and you've hit them both in this poem. First is child molestation, and second is a violation of a woman. Those two things make my blood boil. If I was in law enforcement and walked into one of those cases, I would be judge, jury, and executioner. There would be no fucking courts of law, because I do not. That is nothing that angers me more than that. And it's funny, that piece, the two pieces you've recited so far are both very topics that are passionate to me. So I, this is why I can see why I resonate with your work so strongly, because you really talk about things that are dear to my heart.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's wow. That is you've blown my mind with the context around that piece, and then reading the piece that, or hearing you recite the piece, has just blown my mind. Really has. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to just shut up and just let you take it away and just showcase your work, because, lady, your work is phenomenal. I love the because it's the other thing I admire is a lot of people might entertain the injustices that you narrate in your work, but very few people have the conviction to write about it and deliver it on a public platform. So absolute compliments to you for doing that. So
Thank
when I in your bio, when it says that you really delve deeply into socio-political realities and celebrating the strength and struggles of womanhood, no piece speaks stronger as to your advocacy and support of womanhood as this piece just did, and this discussion just did. It really,
thank you.
it's a privilege to share a screen with you and connect with you on Love It, because I really admire and believe in people that not just talk about a cause, but they pick up that sword of justice, be it in their words, be it picking up a physical sword. I really admire those people, because I am one of those people. So I'm going to shut up and just let you share your work and just showcase. I want to showcase the mind behind this entity that's sharing a screen with me. I want to share the mind of Loveth Liberty with on a global level, because I think there's a lot that societies and people around the world need to hear. That's in your head.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I move on to the next poem, I wanted to talk about how sometime last year, when I started off my writing, honestly, I think I've always been passionate about speaking about, gender justice. So I've always been talking about the struggles of womanhood, and, also celebrating our strength, our ability to, bounce through all of it. But sometime 2 years ago, I um while I had seen certain experiences around gender injustices, while I have seen men in my compound, like then that we used to have like, growing up, then before my parents built our home, we used to like share a big compound, because Abuja is the federal capital, so people, migrate, people move from that state to Abuja, so we used to live with a lot of people in the compound. Before we moved to our house, there was this neighbor of ours that, used to, beat his wife. Like, he used to beat her so much. And so I have seen different forms of violence against women. But 22 years ago, I experienced I experienced gender injustice personally. I experienced it. And um In fact, let me give you like a bit of context that makes it so pathetic. I was doing this job for the female lawyers in Nigeria. I've forgotten the name, but they have an organization of female lawyers. It was around the 16 days of activism at November to, 16 days of activism is from November to December, mid-November to December, early December. So I was doing a project for them. I was writing a script for a production. It's a Saturday morning. I'm writing this stuff. I'm sounding like the poet and advocate that I am. And then I'm writing about a lady that's assaulted, at work, a lady that's beaten by her boyfriend and all that. And in less than 2 hours, I would say, I experienced this thing myself by a partner, right? I experienced the thing I was writing about by a partner. And I saw myself become so small. It's like it's like when you go to the front line and you're saying, stop this against women, you're sounding like you have your life figured out, you're sounding like you can do something against gender injustice. And you look at yourself and this thing you're writing about just happened to you. And so I, first of all, I didn't, I kind of like ghosted because I couldn't tell my clients the truth that something had happened to me, because the client was not just a client, she's like a senior friend. And, lying to people that love you is hard. It feels like they can see through you. And so I didn't like say anything. And the next day, I couldn't, it was work now. There were other people that was waiting for her to get back to them. And then I told her what happened, and I told her I could not continue the project because I literally was even going through a lot of things. Besides the fact that I felt like a fraud, besides the fact that I felt too small. Mentally, I could not go on with the project. But after that, even down to 2025, I noticed that for me, I couldn't really write about gender injustice. I couldn't really write about it without feeling triggered, because it's like, well, how do you write about a wound when you go close to the wound is body, right? And so for the most of 2025, I couldn't write. I couldn't write passionate. I couldn't write from truth, right? I couldn't honestly write from truth because I couldn't confront the truth, because I felt so soft to the touch. I
Mm.
felt I felt so vulnerable. There was one day I went to the supermarket. Sorry, my light has gone off. One day I went to the supermarket and the attendant was acting. You know how ladies give attitude when those female attendants give attitude. And I was like trying to, tell her to stop giving me attitude. And something in my head was like, I beg you, shut up, Joe. Like in my head, I felt like, what, you're acting like you have power. You don't. I noticed from then on. Now I can look back and notice this thing in retrospect, but then I didn't know that that was what was happening to me. I felt that I couldn't talk about these things because I felt like I've been defeated, right? 2025, I couldn't write about a lot of these things. I feel like I didn't write a lot in 2025. But one time I went to see a senior friend. She's a client. She's the our programs director at the Nigerian Green Academy. So I dropped by her office. She's a senior lady. She's around the age of my mom. And so when I went to her and we were talking, and then I somehow I don't think I had spoken to anyone about, the incidents that happened to me in 2024, like besides my friends, and I had never spoken to anyone about it, not even my mom then. And then I told her that, it happened to me. What happened, you know, and and she then looked at me with a lot of compassion, and she told me that I should not be really run. I should not try and think that I should not think that I am a fraud because I am speaking up against this thing. It's like I should not feel like a fraud because I'm shouting against this thing because it had happened to me. I should try and use my truth now, to I should write about my truth. I should confront it. And it sounds easier. It's easier said than done. And but then see, because that was like 3 4 months before the end of the year. Still, it's about 6 months now. I realized that it's been writing. I've tried to come back to writing about gender justice. What more than anything, what I would summarize by saying that when that happened to me, what it did to me is it made me feel small. But what it did for me is that it kind of gave me a bit more right to talk about it now. I feel like I am not talking for women. I'm not speaking for women. I'm speaking for myself. You know, it feels like it gave me a bit more rights, and more than anything, made me feel empathy. Like when I say people should walk away, when I say don't do this to girls, I'm speaking from empathy now, not rage.
Mm.
I'm not being angry at the system. I feel sympathy for people, for survivors, because I'm not just talking about a crowd that I am looking at. I'm talking about myself and every other person like myself that has gone through this crazy ass experience, and I'm, you know, healing through it. And I kind of like wanted to just share how what it's been like, what my journey has been like ever since that thing, you know, kind of happened, you know, to me. And um
I
I wanted to.
I fully agree with your mother because, in fact, you should be feeling quite the opposite of feeling like a fraud because now you're not writing off what you perceive something to be, you're writing from first-hand experience. So, if anything, it should make you feel more authentic and authorized to write about something than. So, fully agree with your mum's advice.
Thank you. um so perhaps we should I'm thinking I should do a prompt that's a bit more that's probably a bit more chirpy or happy, because I've been doing a lot of sad poems.
I'm very keen to hear the piece that you were going to. But as I said, it's your feature. You're welcome to share whatever you like. But and I think these are issues. These are the issues that societies, and it's not just restricted just to Nigerian societies. And I'm sure there's many societies. Matter of fact, that's something I don't think there's one nation in the world that today can proudly stand up and say, we don't persecute women,
Mm,
including
yeah,
where I, and we're probably a very advanced society here, community in our Adelaide, to even here, we couldn't say that. And there's cultures like in India and so forth where women are still like treated like the second grade citizen.
true,
Countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, the Arabic nations, where women can't, are stoned to death to date because they didn't have a head covering. For fuck's sake, how does that work in this day and age? Stoned to This should happen in biblical times, not in the 21st. Shouldn't be. Has no place in the 21st century.
true.
So yeah. Anyway, that's. I'm so glad, as the Daisy just said, it's so good that you are staying in your convictions and in the on your lane. Never stop, never curtail your voice because you have been gifted with the clarity of mind to speak for injustice. As I said, a sword can come in many forms. It doesn't have to be a physical sword that beheads somebody. Sometimes
Yeah,
the power of your words can do more to bring justice on a universal level.
true.
So do not. I'm so glad that between your mother's advice and so forth that you can see that now you are speaking your words have weight because you have experienced this and you're writing from personal experience.
Yeah, thank you so much. Um, so this one, okay, I know I said I was going to do a happy poem. I can't, and I'm trying so hard to think of a happy poem. It's like, okay, love it. Don't you write any happy poems? So, okay, there's this poem I wrote, and it's titled "Your Excuse is Old Enough." And basically, for context, I wrote the poem when there was this one time I was so angry at myself for I felt like I was not where I wanted to be. I'm guessing that happens to a lot of people where you sit yourself down and you're like, you're not doing the best that you can do, But it wasn't just about me. I wasn't just angry or unhappy about at me. I wasn't just angry at me. There were a lot of people around me that I had grown up with, or people that I had met when we were ripe, we were about to enter our adulthood, and it felt like we had so much potentials. Imagine some of your friends that you guys had so much potentials, and then you look back 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and you're like, what have we done with our lives, and somehow you blame them because times they could have taken actions that they did not, times they could have done stuff that they did not do, when they quit, when they did stuff that were within their control, and they had things that were within their control that they did not do or did not do right. And so this poem, Your Excuse Is Old Enough, it was my way of trying to take accountability. So yeah, enjoy, because even if the poem is going to be shouting at you, but enjoy. Okay. Your excuse is old enough. It should be paying taxes already. All these years and counting, and you're still at that same spot. You're counting on both hands all the bad hands life has dealt you. Accuse the sun for shining on everywhere else but on your lawn. Spit at the rain for running out of water when it got to your farmland. Call chance the bitter bastard at HR, the hater standing between you and your next level. Your excuse is so next level, so supreme and premium, it puts the P in imperial, quite the white collar, polite and proper, so sleek in speech it speaks the Queen's English, and so it's easy to forgive that you're broke because your excuse got a rich vocabulary, knows the right word for everything but the word for its own mistakes, but the word for its own problems. All this English, but your life don't translate. All this English, but you can't translate. That self-sabotage is the English speak for bro. Now you be your own village people, Mazi. Your excuse is the smart kid that sits front row in class, a Sheldon Cooper at math. So smart he solves advanced calculus for fun, but God, isn't it puzzling? How your excuse keeps failing at the simple maths of figuring out what percentage of the blame is yours and what percentage belongs to God, to fate, to the outside of your control, on a scale of what you can control and what you can't. Tip the blame to your folk. Black tax some of those to mom and dad back home for being too broke, too illiterate, too 2G in a 5G world, never having the required connection. Their legs barely long enough to walk you into rooms that count. Last quarter, you declared your asset and your excuse was your most prized possession, the best gift you ever gave yourself, the only thing you were consistent at, the only art you were diligent enough to make. You make all this excuse and now it has come to make you this 42-year young dreamer, yet to get your dream life, no dream wife, because you walked into a jewelry store. You bought a ring. You went down on one knee and asked your excuse to do life with you. And hell, she said yes. Hell, your excuse has been doing life with you. And now look, your excuse is old enough. It should be paying taxes already. Thank you.
Wow, that's look. I think we're all guilty for some reason or the other of finding excuses, right, for our shortcomings or our lack of energy to do things that we should do. So that's so relatable on so many levels.
Thank you.
And as I said before, and with each of your pieces, your delivery is captivating, and you deliver it at a cadence that lets every word sink in. Sometimes people, for rhythm and rhyme, they blurt through all this and you miss half of it, but you deliver it in such a way that the power of your message sinks, every word sinks in. You're very, very gifted in both creating the content, but also in being able to deliver it. And I've seen that even in the videos that I've seen of you on YouTube of your music. And as I said before, I don't see you pulling funny faces, right? And just the way you deliver it. Loveth, you are gifted in many ways, and the world needs to hear your words. So, my goodness, I
Thank
tell you what, we have just scratched the surface. It's been an hour and 40 minutes because I run the show for 2 hours so that I can get the full video. Anything longer, then I've got to do screenshots and cut and splice it. That's why I limit it to 2 hours from the archive to get the full video. I used to be able to get even 4 hours of an archive, but since Instagram went to 4 and 8K sort of resolution, after 2 hours, generally you lose the audio and the video freezes, so you've got to do screen recordings for the end. And because I create the YouTubes and all that, I like to try and get as good quality piece as I can of the video. But in what I'm trying to get to is we have barely, I feel like I have barely scratched the surface of the Loveth Liberty story. I think there's so much to you that uh, I'd love to showcase more and more to the world. If you have the time, I know you're very busy with a lot of your engagements and so forth. If you have the time and are keen to, I would love to schedule in a second episode of this because I think there is so much of you to showcase. I really do.
thank thank you.
Um, your words are cuts to the very core of what's prevalent in many societies. It's not
Yeah,
just restricted to Nigeria. It's not just restricted to the African continent. Your messages, the gender inequality is prevalent in every nation that I know, some more so than others, but it is prevalent in every society.
yeah,
Social injustices are prevalent in every society.
yeah.
Um, we've got about 20 minutes. I would love for you to just go crazy, just sharing, showcase. Let's get rapid fire some of your work because I really want the audience to hear
Okay.
the greatness of that I've been speaking of for the last 2 hours in your work.
Alrighty. Um, so this one is erotic. This one is plus 18 plus, and it's flirty. So the two poems I'm gonna do kind of like flirty, and then yeah. So this one is titled I Don't Know How to Flirt. So yeah. I don't know how to flirt, but you look Trevion in that shirt. I think is best you take it off. I don't know how to flirt, but I'll let you take me to dinner if only you'd be in the menu. I don't know how to flirt, but you do that things that men do that make the girls want to do the things that girls do. I don't know how to flirt, but see how you make my heartbeat stop. See how you make my body want what my body wants. Thank you. So, the next erotica poem is I don't know what the title is actually. I've not titled it. But I usually perform it with "Put Your Head on My Shoulder." Put your head on my shoulder. Yeah, that song. Throw me in your arms, baby. So the poem goes, Honey boo, tonight there's a couple things we could do. We could make dinner or we could make love. Darling, you choose. Oh, baby, am I being hasty? Maybe we could take things slow. Steep on this white wine while I make you know what I've missed about you. What's this thing about you? How you tease me before you please me leaves me desperate for more. The taste of your tongue wrapped around my neck sends shivers down my spine and rivers between my legs. Boy, come be baptized in the tide between my thighs. Come feed my appetite, 'cause my hunger keeps growing stronger, can keep me no longer. Your lips like whiskey leaves me tipsy is risky, thinking I could keep me from reaping the shirt of your chest. Oh god damn, you got me hypnotized. Boy, keep those thighs spread like your shit. I know that you vegan, but I got something you could eat. My skin between your teeth is all the meal that you could need. Iron beneath, send the missionary, please. See me golden on my knees. Lord, forgive me, I have sinned. Send the missionary, please. And best believe, if he be strong like a stallion, I'll be riding all night long. Thank you.
Whoa, that raised the temperature a bit. Wow.
I then I guess gets the job done.
you, when you dropped off the screen before, I was saying to the audience, um, at the start, I was really complimented. I'm in awe of how you can memorize your work so well. I really
Yeah,
am. And the fact that you have so much rhyme and rhythm in
yeah,
your delivery, missing a line, we said if you miss a line, a good poet will keep going, right? That's great. But if you miss a line when you have got a rhyme scheme and a rhythm to it, it's how do you miss a line there when because then that throws all the rhyme and the rhythm off it, right? I think you've got a Daisy sweating there. She said that was some wild piece, that one. Yeah. Yes. I think you've got her all sweating there. Um, uh, yeah, your delivery is amazing, and you don't miss a beat. I can't see how you could miss a line in memorizing your work.
right, right. So the next poem is titled Mortem, and I'll just go, Fire Brigade, as you
Yeah.
said. Uh, what's the beginning of yeah, I saw skeletons in your cupboard. I saw your skeletons in your cupboard, and they told stories of how you died. They said that you took those good old memories of you and him, that you turned them into a noose and hung yourself with it, like all the good he once did that rocked your boat, all you sailed this with. The stale kisses, this insane wishing to be his missus. You stayed, sniffing the sweet scent of what existed and gaslit yourself into not perceiving all the shit he was currently dishing while wishing things were different. Like daddy wasn't absent enough to teach you about men that never stay. Like daddy wasn't absent enough to teach you about boys that never stay. Teach you that some boys are born with hearts like nomads. They never stop. They never settle. And you settle down for this excuse of a man, this man with genitals too omnipresent to make you home. To him, you were just a warm bed in a cold night somewhere at the crossroad of his life. And so, as early as cockcrow, he moves on to the next girl. What you don't know is his belly is the size of a peat, waiting to be filled with all the kisses of women like you in their hundreds. But you eventually knew, didn't you? Then why didn't you spit out his name from your mouth? Look at you now, the woman with the issue of blood, because your heart does not stop bleeding. Yet you do not stop needing this knife of a man under your shits, waiting for him. Is to you a ritual as going and coming and going is to him habitual. When he knocks on your door with stagger in his step, alcohol in his breath, reeking of all the women who got lost in his throat, you welcome him. in. You welcome him in, lead him into your kitchen, make him a meal out of your soul food, kiss after kiss, moan after moan. When he's filled, he leaves. He always leaves, baby. You know he always leaves. And now you're left cold and alone with the souvenir of burning desire. Your loneliness returns with a tongue of fire, tells you it's just you left in this dance floor. Yet you turn your relentless love into a lab. You diagnose different problems for your legs. Yesterday was arthritis, today is a rupture. Any defect to convince yourself that your legs are not in a good state for you to walk away. Any defect to convince yourself that your legs are not in a good state for you to walk away, that you are stuck in a way, loving this knife of a man. Look at you now, the woman with the issue of blood, because your heart does not stop bleeding. I saw skeletons in your cupboard. I saw your skeletons in your cupboard, and they told stories of how you died. Thank you.
Your legs are not strong enough for you to walk away. Such a profound statement. It's so common, again, universally, where people stay in or tolerate and accept toxic behaviors or toxic treatment from others through dependency, through lack of confidence, whatever the case might be. Seeing that so much. We devalue ourselves that we tolerate and accept. I have myself. I've accepted things that I perhaps shouldn't have historically. Nowadays, I'm a more vigilant in my, be it a business, and it's not just in an emotional relationship. You can relate to that in toxic workplaces. Now, these days, I'm quite brutal the way I cut things off, but in the past I have been accepting of mistreatment to me because I didn't value myself or didn't think I had other options. But very powerful again. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and let you go. You've got about another 10 minutes or so, so go crazy.
Okay. Um, so here is my heart. It is made of bars, chocolate bars or prison bars, depends on which of my ex-lovers you ask. When I'm in love, I get giddy, like a butterfly meeting her wings for the first time. For the first time, I watch love die before my eyes. I watch love turn into something I could no longer recognize. It reminded me so much about my father's funeral, La Familia, stretched out in that open casket, almost unfamiliar. I imagine his body a basket, because how else would all of that life have leaked out of him? At the salon, the pedicure lady with scanty hair on her chest went on and on about my front hair. Say women like me, with our front hair full like a forest that often fertile grounds, loamy lovers, she calls it, turns me side to side, and after inspecting my hips and thighs, declares, you were covered in children. I know. The women in my family are first mothers before they are themselves. And my home can be a lot of things, but sometimes my home is a closet full of undone laundry. Rather the stench than taking our dirty linens outside. I still remember that time. My mother brought in the family doctor to help us take out part of himself my uncle forgot in my sister's belly. I still wonder how he got there. I'm done with that one.
Well, I actually read that when you posted it, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might have responded to it as well. Yeah, that. But hearing you deliver it was, yeah, wow. Um, I love a lot of the, like the lines you use, like, dirt. My closet is full of dirty laundry. Like we all have dirty laundry in our closets for sure. That we things that we've not dealt with,
Yeah.
lack of conviction to deal with it. So you use some phenomenal lines in your work that makes the point so relatable. It's not something twisted and hidden out there. Your lines just cut straight to the issue, to the aspect of what the human trait that we got to deal with.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's this very short poem I wrote last year. It's like one of the shortest and softest poem I wrote. Um, it's titled Don't Leave. So yeah. So don't leave, at least not yet. I got a little love in my purse and even more in my pocket. Stay. If you stay, I just might give all that love to you.
That is that is very that's heartwarming. That is it's might be short, but it says a lot, right? When we meet that right person, we give 'em-
Yeah,
we say, yeah, the line says, "I'll give you my love," but it's giving all of ourselves, giving our full commitment, giving our sharing, uh, the offer to share my whole life. That's what.
yeah, that's
Um,
what it is.
because to me, I think it's important that we find fulfillment in ourselves, and we got to be happy with ourselves as a complete independent unit. And then, as two in the fully complete units, two people decide to share their life and walk down a path together, not two halves hoping that somebody else will come and fill the missing half in me and we build a life. That's, the common mistake to me that people make. Whereas two independent, wholesome people um, that meet and
Yeah,
elect give all of that, if the other person is prepared to walk down that street with you, as two independent people supporting each other, growing with together, supporting each other's growth, sharing life's experiences together as two independent people, as two whole people.
yeah, yeah. True, true. So
So
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
So there's this so a lot of times I don't really title my poems, but yeah, this one I wrote this one early of last year, and I wrote it around a time when I would say I came out of a very dark depression, right? So imagine you have to you just dealt with a crazy ass depression, and the next week you have a residency. And you know how residencies require your energy. They want you to be alive in the room. They are teaching you, you are learning, they also need your energy, right? And so I wrote this at a time when I was coming out of a very dark place, and then I was with a lot of artists, and we had to create. And yeah, so it started, it begins, you're right here, because I literally was there with a lot of artists, right? And I'm like, I'm here, I'm here, right? And I'm doing it. I have to, part of my job involves me looking good and making people feel good. Part of my job is looking good and showing up good. And so it says, you're right here facing your dreams, regardless the nightmares, regardless the wild fear. You're right here, you're doing it. You're facing your mountains, you're moving it, claiming your light, you're using it. You always knew that you're a star, but now you're proving it.
Such positive, so positively affirming and empowering. So much said there, because finding strength to deliver, to move, to do what we need to do. When life is good, it's easy, but it's when you're exhausted, when you're battered, when life has knocked you down, to rise up
Yeah,
and pick up your sword and keep plowing on. That's where true strength is forged, in the
true.
fires, the furnaces of difficulty and darkness. So, look, in Loveth, firstly, let me thank you for coming on the show. And as I said, I'd love to have a part two to this and continue your story and exposing your work, which I think there's not a piece that I heard of yours today that I don't respect, that I don't hold in high regard. Um, uh, I'd love to do the part two to this. I'm currently booked up till the 10th of July is my next available date. So somewhere between July and December, let me know a date if you're keen to do it. I think 27th of November will be the last show, and then on the 11th of December, sorry, 27th of November will be the last feature, and then the 11th of December I'll have my Christmas show where I invite everybody who's participated or featured through the year to come and just share a couple of pieces and bid the year goodbye and welcome the new year. So between the 10th of July and the 27th of November, you pick, like I do it every 2 weeks. I'll send you a list of dates. If you are available around your travels, I'd love to feature part two of your work because I think your message is powerful. Your story is interesting, and your story in itself is empowering, and your commitment to your craft is deserves every bit of kudos that the world has to offer because it takes a lot of commitment and strength to believe in your work and to make it your lifelong commitment that puts food on your table and food in your belly. So that's all things that we can all take a good example from.
Yeah.
So anything before we wrap up, is there anything you got coming up that you would like to promote to people where if you got any events coming up, or you said you got your album you hope to release soon?
Yeah. But first of all, I have an a debut music because for me I've not released a lot of music in that sense, but I have a single out by the grace of God next month. So yeah, please yeah, they should look forward to that and buy my music, stream my music, and basically I think I'll probably like to just say this out loud. It's not even just about me because I've been in this place in my head talking to my friends too, where I feel like um the world actually consumes art a lot, but the world does not pay for art as much as it does. And
Mm,
so I just want to say how as a people, we can say the word, the word, and talk and speak like we're talking to an invisible figure, but it's just all of us in it. But as humans, as people as patrons of the art, we should actually try and patronize the art, like look out for
mm,
artists, even when you're busy, maybe try and buy ticket for their shows. Send your artist friends money because it's not easy. It's honestly not easy. The opportunities, even in first world countries, the opportunities for artists are few and far in between,
mm,
right? And just look out for your artist friends. Send them money at random. Recommend them for paid engagements, and the ones that are working, like they are showing up for communities that you're sure they're not paying them for these, like for the Abuja Literary Society, everything we do is highly voluntary, right? Like it's the shows, the events are totally free. We don't, except our festivals where we sell tickets all or every Friday. The events, I tell you, that is for every Friday, they are totally free. So those kind of organizations try and ask, how can I support this, how can I keep the light on, just try and look out, because it takes a lot from us to keep art alive. It takes a
mm,
whole lot from us to keep art alive. And I just wanted to say that look out for people, look out for them, show them love, show them support so that we can keep doing this art. Because you guys, we need to do art, and you guys need us because you need to consume art, right?
mm.
So
Yeah.
basically, oh,
Mm, yeah. So do you have a playlist at the moment on things like Spotify at the moment?
no, I don't.
Okay. Let me know when you do, because like I've got Frankie Walter's playlist that's constantly streaming on Spotify in I've always got music happening 24/7 in my house. So when you do release any of these playlists or anything in that music, please do share the links with me. Um, and all the very best with the forthcoming album. Um, and also, yeah, continue with your work, my friend, because your work needs to be heard and needs to be shared and needs to be enjoyed by many. Um, Now, when I post this, I will add you as a collaborator so you can add it on your own page. And over the next few days, when I create the YouTube and the Spotify podcast, I will share those links with you. Feel free to use them any which way you like. Um, and love it to say that the conversations in the last 2 hours has not been treasured by me is an understatement. I have valued everything that we've talked about, and uh, it really is an honor to have connected with you and to get to know just a little bit more below the surface as to what drives you, uh, what drove some of your pieces, because I think it just adds a lot more depth once you know a bit of context and once you've met the person, albeit on a screen. It really has been a pleasure. And I hope, God willing, as I said, as of yesterday, my flights are still confirmed. They haven't cancelled them. So I am praying and hoping that I will be on that plane on the 19th and reaching the shores of Abuja on the 20th morning. And when I'm there, I'm glad that the Abuja Artist Society got an event every Friday. Hope I'll be there for about 3 Fridays. So I hope I'll get the opportunity to attend one of those sessions, one of the open mics or anything. Um, and I hope that I do get to meet you in person as well while I'm there, unless you're traveling or so forth. It really would be great to meet you. And my guest from 2 weeks ago as well, Prince Idris, he's in Lagos, so I'm hoping to meet him as well. It adds another dimension. Meeting, connecting on a screen and sharing a couple of hours adds another dimension to reading people's posts, but meeting people in person adds another dimension again. So,
It's been nice connecting.
fingers crossed that things will ease up in the Middle East and that my flights won't be cancelled. My travel agent literally said, at the moment, it's all still your flights are in place, but on the day before, or even on that day of traveling, we don't know. It could get cancelled, just depending on what happens in the Middle East. So I'll be packed, I'll be ready, I'll be vaccinated, I'll be set there, I'll be sitting at the airport, and if that plane takes off, I'll be on it. If it doesn't take off, I'll be angry. People had better
It's
stay away from me for a while, but I'd be so pissed I'd be like a bear in a cage that's ready to kill anybody. But I'll also be very heartbroken because I have been planning and looking forward to this trip. Matter of fact, I ended up in hospital through a side effect of one of the vaccinations, right?
okay.
I had in hospital for 3 days. So I really want to be on that plane and I really want that plane to get me there. So fingers crossed. Um, Love it. Thank you. And through all the technical difficulties and so forth, we made it through, and it really was an honor. I'll
Well,
be in touch, and let's see if you are keen to line up a part two. And if you are, we'll lock in a date for part two.
alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. God's blessings to you. Stay safe. Keep
Thank
the ink in your pen flowing. We need your
Amen.
words.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
Thank you, Loveth, and thank you to everybody who's come through the room, and appreciate your support and your comments. Um, See you all in a 2 weeks' time when with my next guest in episode 70. So getting there. Thanks, Loveth. Have a blessed weekend.
You too. You too. Enjoy. Have a
Yeah,
lovely day.
you too. Bye.
Bye.